Good morning, Math 6 students and parents. This is Mr. Giomini. Just wanted to discuss two quick questions that seem to really burn some of us on the most recent Unit 2 mid-quiz from last Friday. First one. It says, choose all that represent 10 to the negative third. Well, first thing I need to remember, and there was a nice chart in your book. We highlighted the chart in the text or the math journal. 10 to the negative third. So I know that 10 to the 0 is equal to 1. I knew that 10 to the negative first, essentially just moved that decimal point over 1 and made it 1/10. 10 to the negative second would then equal 1/100th, and then 10 to the negative third is equal to 1,000th. Okay, now popular answer for this was, now that I know what 10 to the negative third is, I'm just going to go through and find the answers that are equivalent to 1,000th. Now, recall what we discussed in class. When you have a negative exponent with a power of 10, that number is going to be greater than 0. Let me flip that around there. That number is going to be greater than 0. So whatever that value is, it's greater than 0, but it is less than 1. So if I look through these answers right now, I'm canceling off A and E because these are both less than 0. Now I'm looking for 1,000th. We were not allowed to use calculators on assessment. I wanted to assess your computation skills, your calculation skills. So I look at the first one, or letter B, 1,000th or 100th times, or 1/10th. It's still early in the morning for me. 1/10 times 1/10 times 1/10. Well, I'm just going to go 1/10 times 1/10 initially. So again, I'm trying to see if letter B would work. That gives me 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 0 is 0. I am done here. Now, I'm not going to bother multiplying all the other zeros because that just gives me 0. 1 decimal over, 1 decimal over, that gives me 2 over, so that gives me 100th. Now I multiplied those two together. Now let's multiply the other 10th by itself, or to the 100th. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 0 is 0. I'll cross off that 1. Obviously, this will all give me 0. Now that's 2 over here and 1 over here. That gives me a combination of 3. So that's 1, 2, move decimal over 3 places to the left. That's 1,000th. Hey, that works. Now, seeing that this is equal to, or 10 to the negative third is equivalent to 1,000th, I look at answer choice C. Well, that says 3,000ths, but I need 1,000th. So I automatically know that C is not correct because D is 1,000th, which is equivalent to 10 to the negative third. I know that D now works. Now, here's the one, and we could not make this connection, some of us. If you multiplied B out, you could see that F is the same. 1/10 times 1/10 times 1/10. Those are the exact same two answers, just one is in decimal form. This is in fractional form. So F would have been the correct answer as well. Now, if you don't believe me, I could say, hey, what is 1/10 times 1/10 times 1/10? 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 10 times 10 is 100 times 10 is 1,000. That's 1,000th, which is the same as 1,000. And if you didn't know how to multiply fractions, you could have converted these fractions into decimals and said 1/10 times 1/10 times 1/10, which gets us back to the problem that I originally did for letter B. So the answer choices for this would have been B, D, and F. Next one I'll take a look at is the one with Jeff. Now this mirrored the question that I asked you the previous Friday for the weekend practice. Very similar. I actually found this one to be a little bit different because we didn't talk about percents in this one. So if I take a look, and I think what some of us did is not use our highlighter or underlining skills that we were taught last year to include in answering short answer center response questions. So Jeff wanted to buy the following items. A PS3 for $249.95, an additional wireless remote for $49.95, and 3 used games for $21.95 each. Does Jeff have enough money to buy all 3 items, not including tax, if he has $375? If he does not, how much more money does he need in order to make his purchase? Show calculations to support your solution. So let's see here. Jeff wanted to buy a PS3 for $249.95, a wireless remote for $49.99, and 3 used games for $21.95 each, does Jeff have enough money to buy everything? Now maybe this is with all three items. Maybe that should have been worded to buy all items. If he does not have, or if he has $375. So many of you kind of use techniques to divide this up into sections because you saw it was a 4 point, so you divide it into 4 sections. You can do that kind of box it method. If you did such a thing, that is fine. If you did not, that is okay as well. Let me straighten that out. So taking a look, these are a different color here. So first I'm just going to combine this and this, the wireless remote and the PS3. So we have $249.95 plus the wireless remote, which was $49.99. Simple addition problem. When I add decimals, I line up the decimals. 5 plus 9 is 14. Carry my 110. 9 and 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. I'll bring down my decimal point in my answer. Regroup the 110. 9 and 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19 again. Group my 110. 4 and 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Nothing to regroup. That's 2. Now, so there's what Jeff spent on his PS3 and remote. So that's that plus that. Now I'm going to go over here. It says he bought 3 games for $21.95 each. So this will be my game section here. So let's figure out how much we just spent on games. $21.95 times 3. Remember, I'm using this as the multiplication, so when we get into pre-algebra unit next, we'll understand that that is really used as a multiplication symbol when we're using algebra, so you don't have to get confused with the x in multiplication for a variable. I go 3 times 5 is 15. Regroup my 110. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 1 is 28. Regroup my 2 tens. I will not bring the decimal down because I'm multiplying. I go 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, I have 2 decimal places over here, no decimal places over here, so I move it over to 1, 2. So Jeff spent a total of $65.85 on games. Now, I need to figure out if he has enough money to buy everything. Well, first let's add to see how much Jeff is actually spending. So we have $299.94 plus our $65.85. Okay. 5 plus 4 is 9. Nothing to regroup. 9 and 8 is 17. Bring my decimal point down because I'm adding, so just drop it straight down. The correct place value. 9 and 5 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Another 10. 9 and 6 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Group by 110. 2 and 1 is 3. Okay, this is how much Jeff spent. Now the question was, does he have enough, or does he need more? Well, let's take a look. He has $375, and what is it? $375 even. He's spending $365, so obviously he does have enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to subtract to see how much money Jeff actually has left over. So it's $365.79. Popular thing here to do is say, oh, 9 minus 0, 0. That is not the case. Remember, we are subtracting, so I cannot take 9 from 0, so that becomes a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. To make that a 10, I had to borrow the 10 ones from here, so that becomes a 9. I had to get that. I had to make this a 4. Get 10 from here. So we have 9 minus 7 is 2. Decimal point. I cannot take 5 from 4, so I need to borrow from here. That becomes a 6. This becomes a 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. 6 minus 6 is 0. So Jeff actually has $9.21 left to do whatever he wants. Go buy a burrito from Chipotle. Hope this helps make sense a little bit more, maybe some of your mistakes on the assessment. Don't be surprised to see questions similar to this on your Unit 2 summative post test. Take care.